Good evening. If you are joining us right now, this is Mobile Journalism Africa, and today's session is first among many conversations that are coming up, and we are going to be talking to young people who are doing incredible stuff in their communities, and especially regarding COVID-19. So there are young people who have stepped up into leadership, and they are distributing food in their communities. And so today we are talking to two. Um, so we are going. Yeah, Billian. Billian is here, so I'm going to bring Billian on. I am hoping Asha can also join us pretty soon. Yeah, waiting for Billian to join. Yes, we have you here finally.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Yeah. How are you?
Good.
Good
I am
evening.
fine. Good evening to you, man. How are you?
Okay, good to see you again, man.
Yeah, I know it's been a while, and you've been doing an amazing job in your community, man. I think
Thanks, thanks,
that is
thanks.
that is commendable.
Asante sana, asante sana.
Yeah, karibu, karibu, karibu sana. So, probably just an introduction. So this is first among many other conversations to come. Yeah. So we are doing this in collaboration with Footprints for Change. So we are talking to we are starting these conversations to help young people share their experiences, yeah, and shape collective and effective youth action kwa ground. So wewe ndo unajua situation iko kwa ground in your community and you have stepped up, yeah, to just cushion the community from the effects of COVID-19 at the moment. So that is what we are going to talk about today. There are a lot of issues. I have five hot questions for you. So you'll be in the hot seat for about 30 minutes or so. And then we also get Asha, who is almost doing something similar to you, to what you are doing in Kibera. Yeah. But so feel free to just share as much as you can, and let's see where this goes. Is that okay?
Fine.
Yeah, because whatever you guys are doing, and what every actor is doing is to ensure that tunakomesha corona mtaani. Yeah, so effective youth action kwa ground. Leo ndo tutajua situation kwa ground iko namna gani. Yeah, so Billian, for those who are joining and who are watching this who do not know who Billian is, if you don't mind, just introduce yourself and do not hold anything back. Yeah, I want you to feel as free as possible.
Uh, so Billian is a boy wa Mathare. To start
Mhm,
with, Muita Billian wa Mathare. I
mhm.
was born and raised in Mathare.
Okay.
I also work in Mathare, so I have my organization based in Mathare, the Billian Foundation. I've also been in charge of the Future Uchi campaign that I started some years back, giving
Yes.
kids uniform. Yeah, so I've been engaged in a lot of social driven community programs in
Yes.
Mathare, the Billion Foundation, and even other initiatives and other partners. So yeah, na saizi sasa we are trying also with the same spirit, just stepping up what we've been doing to curb the story ya COVID-19 to make sure that our communities are safe.
Okay. Billian, you've talked about some of the projects that you do. I know Feature Uchi, and I know the program that you've been running in Mathare that I think has been running throughout. And then now we have COVID-19 that has come, and you've again stepped up to just help the community in one way or the other. Then I would ask this: so what motivates you to spring into action each and every time there's an issue in the community, and not necessarily when we have crisis, but even just working to help the community when everything is normal? So what is this that motivates you to take action?
It's my community. I feel we deserve better. So always it's just that drive, making sure that we get the best, and being one of them that I understand most of the stories, most of underlining issues. That is what drives me. Yeah. So basically, and it's not just me. I know of many other young people who are also doing a lot of awesome things that we work with to make sure that we drive for social change in our communities. Some of us have been seen or been supported by the community to lead some of these conversations. So that is a drive that usually always there is a backup from the community that willing to support some of the programs are doing. So that is the drive that people buy into some of the things that we're doing.
All right, that's interesting. I think it's a challenge to every young person to just step up and do this, and not necessarily like expecting anything in return. So if I were to just ask you to paint a picture of how the situation is right now in Mathare, okay? So in light of everything that the government, all these directives that the government is giving, so the issue of social distancing, yeah, hand washing, all those directives, wearing masks, situation kwa ground ikoje?
Situation kwa ground, we talk big, especially the government, really talk big. And when we talking, we generalize the conversation. Say, social distancing. The same conversation is going to somebody in Runda, and the same conversation you want it to be picked in Mathare and Kibera. And if you look at even how people are living, manyumba zimeshikana. So even that social distancing is a problem. People share amenities. We share toilets, we share bathrooms, we share so many things that social distancing becomes a problem. When you talk about washing your hands, you're washing your hands and there's no running water in those areas. The slums doesn't have running water. So I don't know how the government expects people to wash their hands. So that's how some of us stepped up and starting providing water so that we can have hand washing stations. Yeah, but otherwise, if we just talk and we don't customize some of this conversation to fit different areas, then there are areas that will implement it and there are areas that cannot implement it. The other day, I saw that you cannot go to a supermarket without a mask. For example, our people in Mathare, people buy, we are so used to kadogo, blue band kadogo, bread. There's also customized bread layer, nusu ya nusu. So who is going to buy a bread, 20 bob to wear a mask, which cost 150 shillings. And at the beginning, some of these masks they are one-off. Like if you use this today, tomorrow you have to get a new one.
Pause, yeah.
And these people doesn't have that. So I think high time that some of these things that government are saying that we should do, they should also support. If we say we want you guys to wear a mask, where can people in those areas? If we want you to wash your hands, where do we get the free water to wash our hands? When you talk about sanitizers, where do we get sanitizers? Because our priorities are different. As much as COVID-19 is a threat, is a deadly disease, but I will not say I want to stay safe while my stomach is empty. So I think those are the things that I think when the government is trying to bring up some of these policies that are good generally, but they should also customize them for different areas.
Okay, and talking about bringing all these solutions or putting these things into context, yeah? So the other day, we went to do a story in Kawangware, and the issue of social distancing, like you said, is almost like a myth in some of these places, yeah? So you're telling people to social distance. In the morning, they all leave and must go and look for jobs to get food on the table, yeah? Then in the evening, they come at the water points where they fetch the water. They are all there. Everyone is looking for some water for their homes, yeah? And then again, the issue of masks. We do not have like masks that are available, so that when you are saying wear masks, people have that option. They just wear masks. So I even saw people who are inventing. There are different materials now that are being used to to make masks. People have decided to even use those carrier bags, yeah, the current carrier bags that we use. We've seen bras, so we even did a story of people using bras to do that. How is it replicating as well in Mathare? Are people trying to find their own solutions to this? And then again, the question then comes up: how are we controlling quality? Are people just wearing masks so that they avoid confrontation with the police, for instance? Isn't that more exposure? Would you just talk a little bit more about that?
I think I will start by saying the government has failed us as wananchi, terribly failed us. I think before saying let's have masks, the government has the capacity to use, we have been pushing for technical trainings. This is when now we would have been using those technical trainings that we've been, the TVETs.
Yes.
They would have come in. Now the government never invested in TVETs, so everybody went home. So there are no masks that are available that are certified by the government. The only masks that are available that are certified are the N95 and the surgical mask, which some of us cannot afford for the daily use. So people have gone back to doing their own things, and I think that is one of the terrible mistakes that we'll make, because the mask makes you comfortable. When we didn't have masks, people would stay a bit at distance, but right now with the mask now, it's come with some type of comfort. So you feel like when you have mask now, I cannot get the virus, which should not be the case. Yeah, so the government has failed us, and if they had, like they had said that they'll provide affordable masks, people would have not resorted to using materials, using whatever they can to make masks. But since it's a government directive and everybody wants to be safe and everybody wants to look like they're following the directives, people are resorting to doing whatever they feel fits them.
Okay, so Billian, kindly walk us through what you are doing in Mathare. So I've been seeing online and following your conversations online about providing water. What else are you doing? Just take us through what you are doing to, especially at this moment when we have coronavirus. What is it you're doing in the community?
Yeah, so I started by providing water in different communities, villages in Mathare with the trucks. Then now, at least the tanks, the taps are flowing now. So we would go somewhere, you give water, and they say, by the way, mimi hata wachana na maji. Hii maji mtu hawezi kula. And they are making sense. If you're given water, you cannot eat water. So they said, hata kama hiyo sanitizer utawacha, mimi nitaoga na sabuni yangu, make that sanitizer because it's equal to aunga. Please ninunulie unga na sanitizer. So now we started mobilizing on how we can provide foodstuffs to different villages. So at first, tulianza na Wanyama Foundation that we gave over 500 families food from different villages. It was not well organized, and it was the first time, and we also counter-reacting to what was happening. So it was not effective. We had issues with people not social distancing because everybody wants to have something. So we went back to the drawing board to know how we can support and also protect our people. Then we came up with the door-to-door donations, where we came together with 7th Memorial Park, Footprints for Change, Crime Siopoa, some of the organizations, and Kenya Unites, some of the organizations that understands the Mathare environment and seeing how we can use our strength to do something together. And then the last 2 weeks we've been donating food. So we started by dropping into doing donations. Then we saw that one was also not so effective because people ukionekana na chakula ya mingi watu wanakufuata bado. So now, last week, we decided to launch now a voucher that we support the community shopkeepers. So we raise resources. We make a deal with the community shopkeepers. Last week we worked with two. We pay through M-Pesa to those community shopkeepers. So there is also the paper trail on how we are using the resources, and then we develop vouchers for different families. So we work with community health volunteers who helped us identify those people that are super needy. And then each community volunteer had 5 people that they're in charge of. So we give them 5 vouchers, they take to 5 families, and we had like 20 volunteers because we was having 100 families. And it was well organized because people that would come to the shop, they were organized into 5. So you'll not get a crowd coming. You will, even the people who are not part of the program cannot suspect that there's much that is happening. They're only seeing 5 people at once. Yeah, so it was effective, and we're trying to see how to continue with it, but also to bring the aspect of balanced diet. We want our people to be healthy. We don't just want to give food, and we want to support our community shops so that the community can run, and the dignity of the people. So we don't want, when you're getting food, lazima utupigie magoti chini, tupige picha, tufanye nini. We want people to receive some of these donations with dignity, bila mtu kujua ulipata ama ni sisi ndio tulikupatia.
Yeah, and I think that's a commendable job, Billian. The other question I would ask is, how do you get resources? Because considering you are, you started small, you started with water, and then now you're doing food, and then you're advancing that to just avoid the keeping distance and things like that. Where do you get resources to do this?
So when I started with the water, it was just a personal contribution. I think I owe my community more than just giving water. So I would raise some of my savings every week to give water. It's not even that much, but it makes a big difference. So when we started food, the first time I started now partnering with different guys. The last 2 weeks the first week we donated a month's as I gave something, Footprints gave something, 7 Memorial Park gave something, and that's where we started. Then after that, we knew that this is not sustainable because our resources can only do much. And and we started now an Mchanga. So last week we organized with some of the guys from Mathare who are abroad, who are in different areas in the US and Canada, and we asked them to mobilize and support 50 families, which they did. And within us also, we mobilized some resources on Mchanga, and that's how we've been doing. And even this week, so we're doing every Saturday. So even for this Saturday, we started the campaign to raise more resources to support another 100 or 200 families. We want to keep growing. Yeah.
Okay, I like the fact that you mentioned dignity, and the fact that even while you are doing this, you want to ensure that people receiving the food or the assistance that you guys are giving with dignity. And I remember there is a priest who was preaching yesterday and was saying, you guys need to, if you are going to help people, just go there and leave your cameras at home. I think that is also something that we need to adopt moving forward. Because like you said, it is the communities, and I like that fact that the community, you owe the community even much more than that. And that action that you do, however small, has a lot of impact at the end of it. So I don't know, what challenges have you experienced in doing this?
The challenges that we have experienced, is just learning. This is something that we were never prepared of. When as a project manager, you have to plan for your project. But now this was a project, or this was something that just happened. So we
Yes.
have to just react to it the way it comes. And then it comes with so many challenges. Normally, donating food, you would just call people and you give them food. But this one comes with social distancing, it comes with hygiene, it comes to no contact. There's so many things around it that is a challenge as a community, especially when we're dealing with informal settlements. And two, we can only do much. If you see, last week we gave 100 families food
Yes.
to support. It's just a small fraction of people that we give. And that's why we are saying, hopefully, by next weekend, we can be giving 500, so that it's a bit significant. So that is one of the challenges that we are facing. And it's because of the resources. If we come together and support, like the Matharians in diaspora came, if we organize ourselves like that, I think we can do much together. And as we are putting systems in place for accountability, I'm so huge with accountability, and I love when things go straight. And
Yes.
I was even sharing with the team that hopefully soon we streamline this to a mobile app where we don't have to be on the ground. We just connect with the shopkeepers and we follow up what is happening online on our applications, so that it's something that anybody from anywhere, whether you support, you can be able to trace the small amount that is supported. Because in this country, the thing that makes so many things not to work is the mistrust. We've had guys who were there before us that did very crazy things, even led by the government, and has made Kenyans not even to be willing to support, because when they want to support, they feel like somebody is scorning them. Yeah, so that is one of the things that we are really fighting hard with, and our is to streamline things so that you can trust, you can trace, you can track whatever small you are supporting.
Okay. About what happened last week in Kibera. Okay, I would want to know what your comment is on that, and the fact that you see it's actually the government itself that went there, or let's say it was a district, yeah. So they just go there, put food there, and then people come. A lot of people. We have people crowded there, and some ended up even getting hurt in the process. I want you to comment on that, and then come to the directive that they now gave after that happened. Then they said people cannot distribute or donate food directly to those who are in need. What's your comment on that?
First of all, I'm so happy that it happened through the government. If it was somebody like me, I would be rotting somewhere in jail. And it's so unfortunate that nobody took responsibility for that. That was a total negligence, and then making people, like exposing people to even so many things. So many people who were injured in the process because there was no proper planning. As we take our time, we do the mapping, we know what we are doing, which the government should be able to do. They have the machinery, they have the chiefs, they have the village elders, they have all those machineries that they need to make sure that the process goes smooth. So I shame on them, shame on the government, shame on the people who are handling that. It was, it cost even different organized groups that have been donating food without sharing even the pictures, because there was a blanket now, how do I say, like blanket banning of food donations. We have people who've been supporting 3 families. But if you give a blanket banning, then the people will stop doing that, because it's a loophole for the police to take advantage too. But moving forward, I'm so happy that they changed that to now when you do your donation, you just inform the authorities, because the government itself cannot handle that. Kenyans we do not trust the government with the little that we have. To do it ourselves, and you feel like you've done it. It takes a lot. There's a lot of bureaucracy. when it comes to government handling such issues. So I believe I still want to encourage Kenyans to support. This is the time that we need to support each other. Let's share the love, the little that you can. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be the way we are doing it in a large scale. If you can change or support one or two family, goes a long way. And it's not about a competition, they support. It's about caring about those who, if they were in a position that we are right now of influence, we hope they would have done the same to us. So that's how we should look at it. And just complement whatever that we are doing and make sure that people are safe. So when you're donating, let us not give people a hunger of 200 bob at the expense of coronavirus. It will be it will so sad. So let's follow what we can do. If you cannot handle 100 people, just give 5, and again next day 5, and then the following day 5. So you don't have to bring 100 people together if you cannot handle. So the directives are very straightforward, and hopefully the government will also help us to guide. And I don't know how it will work, because the government itself failed us as citizens who have been doing this.
We are kind of approaching the end of your questions. Guys, if you are joining in and you have any questions for Billian, so Billian is a youth leader in Mathare, and he has been organizing and distributing food to needy families. If you have any questions for him, you can still ask them. And coming up is Asha Jaffar, who's doing the same in Kibera, and you've had the challenges that they go through. So Billian, if people want to support your drive, what you're doing in Mathare, how do they go about it?
I will share. I have a poster that I've shared. One, we have an Mchanga page, which is not just me. I wanted it not to be just about Billian. You know, sometimes you need a checkmate. So we came together with 7 Memorial Park. We are working together with Footprints for Change. We are working together with Crimes Your Power. And we all have our strength. I'm good at community mobilizing. I'm good at making noise. But there are people who are good. Kenya Unite, they are good at paper trail. So they're doing the collections on behalf of everyone. And it's very transparent. So we have our Mchanga account that you can use. You can use PayPal wherever you are. You can use your card. You can send through M-Pesa. There's a link that I will share, and there's also a poster that is going around. Let's just share what the small we can. Each family per is 500 shillings. You don't have to pay much. If you can only support one family, it will go a very long way. And we promise that we will make sure that it gets to the rightful people that deserve that.
Ochieng is asking, he wants to understand how the curfew is in Mathare. Are there any issues when it gets to 7 p.m.? And Footprints for Change is saying local fundraising is a tool for us to spread hope during this time. Great conversation, Mobile Zones Africa and Billian Ojiwa. So answer that one about the curfew and how it is, and then give your final word considering this.
Curfew, I think as we are law-abiding citizens, the people of Mathare, if you treat us with dignity, we are very law-abiding citizens, and we've not had any issue. People have been able to follow the directives from day one. So we've not had any problems with the police. As long as we are not harassed, as long as the police are not taking advantage of people, because some of the people that are staying in Mathare, they work in the industrial area, and you can see now even the cost of transport has it's not as it used to be. It's almost double what people used to pay. So people are doing a lot of also walking and trying their best to be home by 7. So we've not had so much problem. Footprints, thank you so much. Those are our partners. We are doing amazing work together. Some of us are just noisemakers. The real heroes are behind, making sure that everything works well. And my parting shot, I think I keep telling people that, the decision that we make today depends on how long this coronavirus will stay with us. If we don't support each other, if we expose each other, it will take longer. So even if I stay in the house and don't care about what other people are going through, it will, in one way or the other, affect us, because it means it will stretch longer. If we come together and support each other in this fight and care about the brother that we should not let them be out because of food, let's support them, then it will take us shorter time to deal with this coronavirus. So just that. So in one way or the other, you care or you don't care, the decision, the support that you give today it's significant to how long we will stay with this COVID.
That's powerful, Billian. That is really powerful. Thank you so much. And we hope you continue doing that. Kindly remember to share the link, the Mchanga link, just in the comments right now. And yeah, please listen in to Asha's conversation as well. And we will be there to support in one way or the other, in even telling the stories of what you guys are doing. So thanks so much for joining this conversation. Cheers, man. Cool. So yeah, that was Billian Ojiwa's conversation. You guys have heard what they are doing in the community, the challenges they've had to go through, and how you as well can step up and help join in that cause. So he's going to share a link in the comment section. We are also just trying to get to Asha as well, so that we hear from her about what she's doing in Kibera. If you guys have questions for our panelists this evening, kindly feel free to join us. Good evening, Asha.
Hey, how are you?
I am fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Niambie, how is working from home?
Yes, that is the new norm. That's what we have to put up with at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're working from home as well. I am aware you had a food distribution drive yesterday.
Yes. We had a food drive yesterday, and we were able to donate to another 150 people. So that makes
150 families.
Yes. So that makes it 250 since we last started 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So before we even go further than that, Asha, for the people who do not know who Asha is, kindly introduce yourself and say everything that you do.
My name is Asha Jaffar. I am a freelance journalist, and what I do, for survival, is to work as a journalist, and also I'm a filmmaker. But also on the side, because I was born and raised in Kibera, most of the time I work as a social activist and work on community projects and things like that. So yeah, I think I would describe myself as a journalist and a social activist. Yeah.
All right. So if someone were to ask you, for those people who have not been to Kibera, those people who do not live in Kibera at the moment, unaweza sema situation kwa ground ikoje saizi, especially with coronavirus?
Things are a bit hard, like you see on TV or even internationally, people are locked in the house. They choose to stay in the house and things like that. And here in Kibera, even if I walk outside right now, all the shops are open. The streets are as busy as always. And when I said earlier, social distancing and isolation is such a privilege that people here cannot afford. They'd rather, there's a story that I read online that people said they'd rather die than stay hungry, because if right now we are fighting two battles, we are fighting hunger and we are fighting corona. So even in Kibera on the ground right now, as much as we have 200 cases in Kenya, you find out that things down here are not as serious as you will think. Like, you know, if I went to Westlands to pick some food, and, you know, even going inside people's estate is a problem. But here in Kibera, like, you know, life seems so normal and so like as usual. Nothing has changed. Things are as they used to be. So even when we're doing the food distribution and things like that, we try and sensitize people and tell them, you know, as much as we're giving you this food, this can keep you in the house for a week or two. Just make sure that, you know, you can sustain yourself within that period. Because the problem has been like, it's a privilege. Kibera people live hand to mouth. They work as maids, they work as construction workers, they work, you know, wanasemanga mtu wa mjengo, maids, unapata like mtu anatoka nenda nakaa ni Langata outside people's houses to wait for, you know, for the guys to come and, you know, open the gate and so that they can go and clean. And that right now is not happening. If you go and sit outside someone's house, atakufukuza or things like that. So in Kibera, if you look at things right now, a lot of people do not have jobs. They do not have food. Like a lot of people are sleeping hungry, and even when you, like, you know, last week when you were taking food, you give someone like 4 kilos of unga ugali and 4 kilos of unga ngano, and someone thanks you in such a way that you're like, I didn't do anything. But how they're looking at, you know, how, I don't know, like how they're looking at the donation gives you hope and gives you like you're doing something. But, you know, for you, it's, you know, you think this food will only last. People down here don't do shopping. You know, like how outside Nairobi or outside Kibera, people can go to Naivas and buy, you know, shopping worth 6K. Down here, like when you take shopping here, 4 kilos of unga, 4 kilos of ngano, 2 kilos of rice, you know, sugar, sabuni and everything, you put it in one bag and you give someone. That's like how they take it shocks you. Because for me, like I do that always, but for them it's, you know, it's a big deal. So for us, why we're doing that is just to make sure people stay in the house. It's not even to make, you know, we've been criticized that will make people dependable, but it's not even about that. It's, you know, if there's a lockdown, wacha wakae kwa nyumba so that they don't go out to look for food. Yeah.
Okay, I like the fact that you've mentioned the fact that you know, social distancing is a privilege, because in some of these communities, and we also had that from Billian as well, that you know, you're telling people to do social distancing, and they need to move out to be able to get the food, and therefore making the food available for them so that they can stay at home is just one of the ways to prevent their exposure to the many risks that expose them to the virus. Kibali Muridi saying you are doing amazing work.
Thank you.
Great to learn from you, Asha. That's Footprints for Change. They're also in Mathare. Billian is saying you're doing a good job. Kijiji yetu, shout out to you all. Thanks for joining, guys. So, Asha, probably I should just ask this upfront. The issue of the curfew, Are there incidences where people have had to be confronted with the police or things like that because of avoiding or breaching the curfew?
It happens a lot in Kibera. If for people who've been to Kibera, the living life, like the living lifestyle is like for people to survive, they have to set up businesses. So you'll find mtu anapika samaki, mtu akona duka, mtu anapika mandazi kwa street and things like that. And businesses pick up very late in the evening, up around 5 to around 8. That's why, like, you know, like before this curfew, like I would go out and look for, you know. Oh, sorry. I would go out and look.
Yes.
I would go out and look for samaki hapo kwa jirani, or even like walk to the shop. So like there have been problems because businesses pick up from 5 to around 8. So you find out that unajua mama wa samaki labda amefungua hapo 4, ameuza maybe 2-3. Sasa yeye like anataka kukaa sana so that she gets good money. So yeye atafanya nini? Atafuatilia sheria yenye government inasema stay like close down by around 6:30 ama 6:50, so that, you know, just as zile lorries zinapita the police, you don't face any consequences and stuff. So like I live across the street, and every single day you get my police wanna shout, go to the house, go to the house. And for me, I understand, for someone to close the shop at 6:50, you need to have made good money for you to be excited that unajua mimi narudi home naenda kufanya nini, then they make a lot of money. But down here kuna kuanga na issues every single day. There was a time I had gunshots outside here, and you're like, for the police to disperse people, they need to use force. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And maybe we will link that up to what happened last week. But someone is saying, Kijiji yetu is saying, Asha, you are doing great. Kibali is learning. Kijiji are saying that we have documented your work on the Ushahidi deployment.
Well, send link. I haven't seen it.
Kijiji, Asha wants the links, yeah? Neno C is saying, great work, you all.
Thank you.
Ochieng is asking, what do you think the government, where is it? Let me just get that question. What do you think the government should do to address the crisis that we are witnessing? He's asking in regard to the directive on social distancing, something that is impossible in Kibera, in Mathare, in all the other regions.
It's actually close to impossible. But the only thing, I saw Rwanda, they did set up a food bank. And for even Ghana, I've seen even Guinea, they've had like initiatives to keep people in the house. The thing is, like, this virus spreads with people. If you keep people in the house, then you'll be able to contain it. So for me, I think the only way the government will manage to make sure that in Kibera we don't have issues of people like going against the law and things like that, is making sure that after 6, people have food that they can keep them in the house. They can have water, they can have sanitizers and things like that. And bringing people down here, the thing is with sensitization, a lot of youths in Kibera are the ones who've done it, and Shofco only. Shofco is like a big NGO in Kibera that supports girls' education, but also that's compared to the population of Kibera. Kibera has close to 800,000 people living down here. So that if you look at that, that's a very big population for one NGO to make sure they cover everything. And that is why the government needs to send people down here to teach about sanitization, to put up a food bank at the DC office, or get people, teams like us or people like I'm working with, to make sure that we have food in our houses and things like that. Because right now people come and knock at my house to look for food, and I'm like, I've run out of food and things like that. So we have to come up with those things that will keep people in the house, and they're sanitized and they have food. People will not even live in the house, and this virus will be able to be contained. So that's what I think the government should do.
All right. So kindly just talk us through what you guys are doing, you and your team. I remember a few weeks ago, we joined you for the first drive, yeah? And I think that was commendable, to just go door to door. Not a lot of people, you just give it hand whoever you are giving, and the mechanism that you use to identify the needy families. Just talk to those who are viewing, so that they just get a feel of how you are doing this and what you're doing.
Yes. So a week before we started our first drive, which was the first week of April. What we did is we went house to house, and we were assessing the families. So that means we go into someone's house and you ask, how many kids do you have? What kind of jobs do you do? How much is your income? Are you has the COVID-19 pandemic affected you in any way? And if you found out that all those questions that we asked, the people are affected in one way or another, then we will write their names down. And during the drive, we gave out food to every single person. That is why it was easy for us. When you're working with us, the first in 2 weeks ago, you'll see we will go to someone's house and just give them, because we had already spoken before, and we gave them tips. We didn't promise them that we'll give them food. We just told them, there's this initiative we're doing, and we want to get as many people to fund this. So the only thing that you can do is tell us what you need and things like that. So that is how we did. And I partnered with a few youth groups in Kibera. That is the Nubian Youth Council, the Nubian University Students. There's an organization called Nivishe Foundation. We have called Nubian Soak. There are a lot of this called Peace for Change. In every area, we partnered with different organizations down here to make sure that, I'm very poor at groundwork. I'm very good at fundraising and writing reports and things like that. That is why I partnered with people. And this whole initiative is teamwork. People went to the ground to look for families, getting the food down. Like right now we have the government directive of, private donations. What we have done right now is, we put food in a car, and then we drop it to our village representatives. We don't go we let the village representatives do the work. The only work that we are doing as a team, as the Kibera Food Initiative team, is packing the food, buying the food, packing the food, and making sure it has reached the families. And then the youth leaders in the different areas, they go and distribute the food. There are only two. We have now reduced the number of people to at least 2 in each village, to make sure that we don't attract crowds and things like that. So they go and deliver the foods, and we get their data and things like that. So that has been the process we've been following.
Could you talk also to where you get your support from?
All support, to be honest, has come through Mchanga. We started this, I don't know, I think 2.5 weeks ago, and I think the first 10 people sent money through my personal M-Pesa, and I saw for people to trust us, and this is public money. It's not even this is a public project. It's not even a personal thing. We set up an Mchanga account because Mchanga is very strict and very credible. You need a certificate. You need an organization's bank account and things like that. That is why we use the Mchanga to fundraise. So all our donations have come through Mchanga, which is very impressive. All Kenyan,
Okay. I have other questions here for you. What can be done to address the security challenges for ground? That's Footprints for Change asking. And then Kijiji are saying you check out the work that they have featured you, I think, on kijijiyetu.ushahidi.io. I think you just have a look at that in the comment section. And then how can local economies be supported when curfews, though necessary, are disrupting them? The ecosystem depends on people around having disposable income.
What was the first question was?
The first question was the issue of insecurity.
Once we went to Isli we went to Isli on Saturday, and the thing is, after I came back home, I saw online there's a government directive on private donations, and we had to call or channel all our money through the government. And for me, that was so impossible. So what I did is I informed someone from the chief. And I told them, we have this drive, we've done it before. We have never experienced chaos. We've never experienced havoc or anything like that. So we told them, we told them we will reduce the number of volunteers, we'll reduce the number of people that, we work with. Last time we were so many, we were 25, but now we were 10. And we told them we'll make sure you wear masks and gloves, and we'll sanitize and things like that. So for them, I think in terms of security, you just need to inform your local chief, because if there's a government directive right now, we need to be careful to also avoid what happened last time. Because in the first time, what I understand is we were among the first people to start a food drive. So people did not understand what we are doing. So right now, people because of human behavior, people are aware, unajua kuna chakula. So once they see you work with bags and stuff, you will attract attention and things like that. So for me yesterday, for security reasons, I informed someone from the chief, and they gave me a number, and they said in case of anything, please call this number. And I was told, I followed all the directives to also make sure that I'm safe, and the people that I'm helping are safe. It's not even a matter of to even prevent what happened last week in Kibera, which was very sad, and we will not want something like that to repeat ever again.
Seeing how government handled the distribution of food last time, and we have people who got hurt in the process, what would you do if you were to talk to the committee in charge? What would you tell them regarding this? Because you have done the drive, you have done it without having people congregate, and it has been effective. You have done the second round right now. What would you want them to know? I know they have since reversed the directive that they had given, but how would you want them to approach it moving forward as government?
Yes, as the government, I think the government is not able to work with that right now. They're focusing on how to control the spread of coronavirus in Kenya. So I feel like maybe they're busy on that part. But for me, what I feel as the government, they should work with local people like us. So that means if they're coming to Kibera to distribute food, they look for Kibera Food Initiative. If they're going to Mathare, they look for youth groups in Mathare that are doing it. Same to Mukuru, places that we understand right now. It's a privilege to stay at home and things like that. So partnering with local groups makes it easy, so that whatever happened in Kibera would have been avoided if they called us and said, Asha and Tim, we are doing this food drive. Can you come down here and help us? And we will have told them, don't do this thing publicly. We will go house to house. You will deliver the food. We will come with a database and things like that. So the government should work with people in the community, because we understand the community better. Even maybe the people who are donating food and have not been born and raised down here. And for us, we've done it before. So it's consultation. And two, it's, make it I will say, for them to ensure that whatever happened did not happen last time, is to make sure that they support it in a way that will not. What I observed in Kibera is how the food was being distributed in a very disrespectful manner. Like someone was even throwing the food down and watu wanakimbilia wanaangukia. That obviously watu wakiangukia hapo there will be a stampede and things like that. So, it's respecting people and not giving people the dignity they deserve. As much as people are poor and things like that, you treat them with the respect that they deserve. And also, the government and the people are telling us social distance, protect yourself and things like that. When I was going to the supermarket in the morning, I saw the longest line ever, past the DC office. And there was no government directive being followed. And the police officers were standing outside that gate. And for me, the question was, if that was Asha, like Billy said, if that was Asha or Billy, right now I would have been in prison, because, no one was respecting people's health. It's like taking advantage of people's, situation down there. If it was someone else, kidogo meaning a shikwa. So it's the government to follow what they're preaching. And what happened was, totally irresponsible, to be honest. And, for me, I said that whoever was responsible should be should be held accountable, and there should be a public apology and things like that, and they should explain what happened, because that was a government project and not a private project.
Okay. You have talked to us about the directive, and yes, really that was wrong. The approach that was taken is wrong, and I personally feel that the government should, like you said, have consulted with people who are on the ground. So look at what you guys are doing, the model that you have adopted, and the model that, let's say, the Billian and his group have adopted, and then said, now this is how we are going to move forward. What other challenges do you face in this drive that you're conducting?
I think the biggest challenge is, imagine you have 100 bags and the people who approach you are 1,000. That is, I think, my biggest challenge, because you go down there and you distribute. I think even last time you saw mtu anakuambia ina mimi, and surely they are in need, but it's because you miss them in when you're doing the needs assessment and things like that. So for us, the biggest challenge is we have the biggest number of people down here, but we have our what we can donate is very little. So, and also another challenge is Kibera is huge, and we have so many people doing this. And right now, we have so many organizations, everyone doing it. And the problem is, the challenge is collaboration. And what I now am seeking for people down here is to collaborate, because we are dividing resources. Maybe Billian in Mathare maybe could be the only, I don't know, I'm assuming maybe it could be the only one doing it. But in Kibera, we have 20 people already doing it. So we have except we are separating funds right now. So right now we are trying to bring this thing together to keep it one initiative, and we partner with so many organizations, so that if funds come, I can be able to donate to different people. Another organization will be able to donate to me and things like that. But we haven't faced any challenges apart from those two for now.
Okay, so Asha, you are a storyteller. and you've been doing this now. The fact that you want to even change the way people view Kibera, to change the narrative of Kibera, and now stepping up to, help the community in this dire time of need. What is it that motivates you?
I was born and raised in Kibera, and my mother, for her to survive all through, she used to sell food at like on the streets. And my father did not work. He depended on, casual work. So I do understand, if it was 10, 20 years back, that would have been me in a house, waiting for my mother to bring food, and I don't have food. So I understand the challenges, and this is why, I even started it personally, because I did put myself in people's shoes, and I understand how it is to sleep hungry. I understand how it is, to look at your mother, you're hungry, and they say, I don't have money and things like that. So for me, what motivates me is the fact that I lived such a life, and I can help people. And I'm using my name and my resources to make sure that no kid has to go through what I went through. It's sleeping hungry is such, if you have ever gone through it, it's not the most fun thing to go through. So for me, that is what motivates me, to make sure that no kid sleeps hungry. And that is why in every family we went to, we had to make sure there are at least kids there, because we were not helping bachelors and people who were living alone. We were focusing on where there's a family. So yeah.
Okay. Somebody is saying, yes, collaboration is key. That is Kibali Muridhi. A collaborative framework is always the best way to go. Everyone brings their strengths to the table and different problem-solving perspectives. And while at it, again, empathy is important. As we finalize, Asha, I am sure your phone rings the entire time during the day.
Yes.
And there is this huge need, but you can only do so much as an individual. How do you ensure that you are okay now personally?
I was telling my friends I haven't slept since this thing started. I sleep very late at around 4, and then when I hear my phone rings, I don't go to, I would never, right now I ignore a phone call. So the problem is right now taking care of myself is probably the hardest thing. But my friends are pushing me, right now I haven't done anything apart from this interview and a few phone calls. I haven't writing documents or reports and things like that. So I'm taking it a day, a day at a time. And right now, relaxing is a privilege I can't enjoy, because I put myself in the battlefield, so I have to go all the way. And we hope, my prayer is just to hope that all of this we're going through can end, so that we can go back to our normal lives. Because even after the COVID pandemic ends, Kibera Food Drive will not be there anymore, because our aim is to help people who do not have, who cannot survive during these times.
So Footprints for Change, I think, keep up the good job, Asha. Your story is so inspiring, standing in the gap for from the heart. Please do take care of yourself, because your community needs you. Your community really needs you. So Asha, maybe finally, how would people support your drive? How do people support your drive?
Yes, we have an Mchanga account, which I will share the link on the comment section. But also they can reach me through my personal number, which is, I think I can just write it right now: 0725 826 268. It's easy to get me through WhatsApp, direct phone calls and things like that. All my social media platforms, it's Asha Jaffar. So it's easy to find me. What we also advising people right now is just buy food, because even sending money, we'll have to put ourselves in danger going to Isli all the time to buy food and things like that. So to protect our volunteers and us also is, we are seeking people to buy food, and they can call me directly. We have a car, we can go and pick the food and take it to the right people in Kibera.
Okay. Yes, so your parting shot, what did you want people to know? What do you want people to know about Kibera, or anything? What do you want the government to know about the way they handle, especially food distribution this time?
Yes. For me, like I will start with what happened. I think for me, the government needs to partner with local initiatives, because right now I feel like they're very stressed with controlling the virus spread. So they need to work with local communities to avoid what happened last week.
Okay.
For me, is my parting shot is if anyone wants to support Kibera, if anyone wants to support the project, please feel free, even volunteers and things like that. Yes, I think that's my parting shot.
All right. Thank you very much. I think this is counting down. I think it's going to be over in 5 or so seconds. Thank you so much for
Nice.
joining us. Yeah, so guys, that has been Asha Jaffar, who is doing an amazing job in Kibera. And earlier on, we spoke to Billian Ojiwa, who is in Mathare as well. Who they are both doing almost a similar thing, distributing food to needy families, especially this time of Corona. So this is a conversation that has just started. We are going to continue doing these conversations with our partners, Footprints for Change. The purpose is that we all join hands to komesha corona mtaani. So if if you're a young person and there is this thing you're doing in the community, then we are going to be doing most of these conversations. And remember as well that we have the regular conversations that we have as Mobile Journalism Africa, and we are talking to Kenyans who are in diaspora at the moment, Kenyans who are far away from home, to get to hear from them how their situation is and how they are faring on. So today, in exactly about 1 hour or just 50 minutes from now, we are going to be talking to Silantoi Suzanne, who is in the UK. She's studying at the University of York, and we are going to be talking to her about how the situation is in the UK, and also just get to hear from her. So yeah, Footprints for Change have shared the link to the Mchanga link, the Mchanga link that Billian and his team are using. So you can feel free to support them in that drive. Thank you so much for joining in this conversation. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the next conversations that we are going to have. And if you have anything that you want us to also cover, because we do human interest stories and solution-based storytelling, and especially about this moment, people who are now creating, change makers who are doing creating solutions, especially during this time, solutions to help their communities, to cushion their communities from the effects of this pandemic, then let us know through our DM. Thank you so much, and see you in a bit. Bye bye.